Hey there, if you're watching this, my name's Ryan. I'm one of the co-founders of Exponent, and I want to give you a quick demo today to show you why we think that Exponent is the best marketing and sales software platform for franchise companies and their individual franchisees. Plus, we're going to show you how it relates directly to marketing agencies as well. So one of the first things that is hopefully super obvious is that I can see at a top level different financial metrics, right? So this is showing me essentially, if you're a franchise, all the participating franchisees and all the individual locations, and then it's an aggregation of the revenue, it's an aggregation of what we're selling them. So this is what we're able to provide our franchisees, and then we're able to add on additional products, services, and things that they can consume and rebill for those things. And we can also get an aggregation of how they're performing financially as well. So at every level of the way, whether or not you're passing savings onto them because you're buying things at wholesale, whether or not you are providing things that you're rebilling to them, so things like a tech stack or tools that you provide by default as part of the franchise agreement, set up in a digital way that can be rebuilt. So we end up with a nice agency dashboard. We also end up with a list of accounts. So at this level, we can see all of our participating franchisees. So whether it's, if you're a dentist franchise, whether you're a gym, fitness-based, whether you're food-based, like a lot of our clients are, sort of in food, in fitness and those types of things. Even trades. So, for instance, here in Australia, we have a couple of big, large garden or landscaping-based franchises with, a lot of small business owners who end up participating in those franchises. So getting an accurate description of how they're performing in their business is now essentially available to you in sort of one pane of glass. So, for instance, if we were a large national landscaping and garden care franchise, I could see that I've sold one of my franchise. So we get to have a look at the details on how he's using his technology, right? And so we can see, has he logged in? Has he actually started to accumulate leads, customers? Is he getting back to people? Is he booking appointments? Is he communicating with them? Is he using, the lead generation and the demand generation technology that's available to you? And you can set this up so that you can get reports on each individual franchisee. So you can go into their location. You can see in more detail here for Chris Baldwin, for instance. These are all zero. This is demonstration data. This is not a real person for the purpose of privacy and this demo. And of course, what you might be able to do then is you would set up a schedule. So the different metrics for the different types of people. So if I was a gym and I've sold 5 of my locations inside of Texas, maybe I've got a territory manager who is based out of Texas or the southern states of the US, and they want reports on how their Austin locations are going and their Dallas locations are going as an aggregate. Because a lot of times, you'll get one buyer purchasing more than one gym or more than one franchise in the areas that they have expertise in. So this is a really great way to be able to get the summary of what's going on with those individual franchises and send it to management or send it to an account manager on a weekly basis, on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, on whatever it is. And you can have those emails going out. Now, whilst that's great, the magic really is in being able to create what we've termed snapshots, right? So we've come up with this way of being able to build out what we call snapshots, which is essentially pre-configured digital marketing assets, digital marketing policies, procedures, SOPs for in-person procedures. And this can cover anything from running an ad, running a social media campaign, responding to people over email, running an email campaign, anything you can think of with regards to sales, like a call script for a call center, a phone script for an inbound customer service representative, all of this and more, because we're only scratching the tip of the iceberg here, scratching the surface. All of this and more can be developed and approved at the agency level and then applied to any location. So that means that headquarters, the owners of marketing at the franchise level, get to decide what the brand is, the tone of voice, the colors, what a campaign is going to look like, and then distribute that to individual locations. So if I'm, say, F45, I've just sold 5 F45s inside of Australia, which is where I'm based. If that's the case, F45 is an American franchise. They'll have an Australian division, but that's for a very large company, right? If it's less large, you want to go global day one, but now you want to start dealing in multi-currencies. That gives you the power to essentially build the US version of your marketing assets, etc., and then push the US version only to those US locations. What we're able to do is able to choose the pre-configured assets in what we call a snapshot. And then, for instance, here, we've done one here for our landscaper. Once we've built it, we can simply click refresh. And let's just say I sold a US landscaper. I could create a new account based off of this configuration, or I can push it to any location. So I know that I want to send the updates and the assets out to all my US locations. Now, I don't have this linked to anybody, so it's not coming up. Again, if this was linked to any sub accounts, I can see here, there's a company there, and I could select it, and I'd go through and select all the different assets. So let's just go and say, select all of those locations. And now it's going to say, okay, well, what about your ad campaigns for Google? Yes, do you want to include those, yes or no? What about any ad campaigns you've done for the Meta, Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram world? Blogs, so literal blogs, right, can be copied across. Marketing campaigns, certificates of attainment around courses that you might want each new franchise team to complete. So as an onboarding process, you might build a course, which is like, welcome to F45. This is the rules and regulations around how you operate. This is how we approve marketing things. This is how we disprove marketing things. That can all be set up. You can send custom dashboards. So the metrics that are important to you as an owner of a franchise, you can deliver those directly to the franchise owner. So from day one, they're working with a dashboard with the metrics that are going to be relevant to them in terms of, if it's an F45, that's trials in the door, converting those trials into tours, converting those tours into paid memberships. We can do this across funnels, websites, sales pipelines, and how you operate our drag and drop pipeline, right? So we're quite sort of well known for our ability to build drag and drop interfaces for non-technical users to run highly automated sales and marketing processes. You could even develop 30, 40, 100 days of social posts for each new franchise, and you could have all of those come down in the social planner so that they only have to click a button to publish something that headquarters has approved and said yes to. And then you could even give them the option to, they're going beyond what like the national level headquarters is willing to put behind campaigns, over and above the 10% revenue that you take and spend on marketing. So it's giving them the power to do local marketing with their own wallet, with their own money, rather than just relying on, what I suppose like HQ is doing or what, big metro is doing. Because I know from personal experience, when you're in a regional area, you're not seeing the results from, say, TVCs or billboards because they're not in regional areas. So you need to run your own sort of Facebook ads, and that's a nice way to be HQ approved, marketing approved, but using your own money. We're even able to develop your own AI agents that are specific. So F45 is a great example. They ask the same set of questions on people. Are you fit? Are you over 45? Do you smoke? Do you have heart conditions? Do you fill out these waivers? All of that information can be pre-built, trained, and tested like your own ChatGPT and deployed to each new franchise that you get on board. And of course, all the automations for workflows. This is our business process automation system. This is really the engine behind making business super automated. And all of those workflows can be passed into the new locations. And of course, like location specific as well. And then you can turn on or off the ability for them to work beyond that and manipulate them even further. So whilst we do this, it's like we're developing our own software. So if we were to go and build a new ad campaign for a summer promo, 12-week body transformation, something like that, we can build those ads and then we can simply push those ads to the sub-accounts or to the locations of franchisees that we want to receive those ads at the push of a button. This is an instant transfer of intellectual property from franchisor to franchisees, and no other software on the planet will be able to achieve this, hands down. So in saying that, just to give you a very quick look at what it looks like inside one of these accounts. So let me just choose a sub-account really quick. I'm going to just go into a dentist example here. By the way, Exponent has pre-configured vertical snapshots. So if you're not sure how to get up and running and you're a dental franchise or you're a gardening franchise, we have over 110 pre-built templates to suit the vertical that you're in, which will give us a really good baseline on how to take you from maybe you're on HubSpot, maybe you're in Salesforce, maybe you're using spreadsheets, maybe you're using like ChatGPT, I don't know. But whatever you're using, this is the best possible CRM and franchise management system. So we can help you migrate away and come over to the Exponent platform. Now, if it's dentist, for instance, we can manage that client and we can do a bunch of stuff. But what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to switch inside this account to have a look at the details. So once I click switch inside the account, here I go. I've got my name. So this is a dentist in a place called Wollongong, which is a regional area of New South Wales state in Australia. Once I've got this here, I've got my own set of dashboards. I've got my own dashboards that could have been created from HU. And so now I'm seeing, different sales metrics around like the number of opportunities in the pipeline, the stage of the funnel that they're at. And if it's a dentist, of course, we might have, we ran some ads for orthodontics. We got 5 leads. Do we respond? Do we book the appointments? Did they show up? Do we need to nurture them? Did they actually go ahead and purchase it? Did we have to, fill out a waiver and those types of things? And all of that can be done in a pre-built pipeline like this. So you're able to build a series of pipelines, and I'm going to go ahead and build the orthodontics pipeline. Generally speaking, this is responded to ad, right? And these are great social ads. Responded to ad, booked appointment, right? And then showed, we're going to do a follow-up, consults booked, right? And we're going to say, I don't know, converted to braces plan, for instance, right? So orthodontics, normally aimed at sort of primary school, early high school children / teenagers. We want to run the ads to the parents, book the appointment, get them in, and then with the follow-up, we get them on a sort of 5-year plan. And, braces end up being, at least sort of $6,000 to $15,000, at least where I'm from. So the lifetime value is really good, right? So it's really important that we get people showing up to these appointments, because if they don't show up to the appointments, it's a massive amount of revenue that's lost. Bunch of different options that we can have, but as soon as we save that, we're able to start using this immediately. Go back to our opportunities, choose the orthodontics pipeline. Now we're going to add in here that someone responded to an ad, right? So we're going to say, okay, well, this person's name was Anne Smith. She's a 15-year-old and, whatever else, right? Bad, front, crooked, and I don't know the name of teeth. I'm not an orthodontist, but we're going to say that's worth, say, $5,000. It's open, and let's go create. Oh, I mustn't have filled something out. Let's create a new one. Cool. So now this is drag and drop, right? So, that is. So this will automatically move 2 different stages if it's been configured, and a lot of our vertical snapshots have. So once she does do that, let's say that they book the appointment, it'll automatically go to the next stage. And I've got a bunch of people in the waiting room. The 15-year-old girl comes in, her name's Anne. All I got to do is say that she showed up. And as we know that just from dragging and dropping, what that's going to do is it's going to kick in a whole bunch of standard operating procedures that you, the franchisee, have given that dental office or that satellite office or, participating member office, whatever you want to refer to it as. And they're now following that process. That the mother, that girl is just received an email saying, thanks for coming. Here's the forms you need to fill out. Thanks for coming. Here's the photos we need to take. Thanks for coming. We need you to go and get these x-rays. We need you to fill out these waivers. We need you to give us your private health details. So anything you can do as part of your business processes, and franchises, as we know, are all about systemization and process. All of that can be baked into the back end of our business process automation engine, so that from a user's point of view, they basically just drag and drop these cards around. They can add tasks, they can add notes, they can add appointments directly from these cards. They can change the information, or you can lock it down so that it's completely controlled by you as well. In addition to this, they're able to do contact management. So they're able to have their own CRM. They're able to send SMS messages. They're able to send emails. They're able to do absolutely everything like booking appointments, reminders, changing information, custom information, everything you can imagine the CRM does. Beyond that, you've got all the marketing automation tools at your disposal. You can see here we've got a huge amount of features, and almost so many features that we've run out of space on the screen here. So if I just maximize this out a little bit, you can see we've got funnels, which is great for video sales letters. For instance, like here's a dental implant snapshot where we have a nice call to action. So I could run a Facebook ad, but what you've given me as the franchisee looks like this. So let's explode on that. This is our landing page, which is run for the local area. So if this is Wollongong, where I live, this would be run on Facebook for people that are, live in Wollongong that have kids, right? That are a high school age or something like that. Facebook will figure it out. You hit the landing page. They want to get a discount on whatever it is. They fill that out. Then the automatic response comes in. Then the AI can respond. Then you can have someone call, like whatever your process needs to be or wants to look like, we can bake that in. And of course, you can give all of these assets instantly to anybody participating in those locations. And this extends well beyond what was looking here. We've got things like forms, surveys, quizzes, analytics, WordPress, client portal. You can read the menu items, but all of this can be delivered to the user. This is not something that they need to create from scratch. So this is a couple of minute introduction into the Exponent platform. This is how we work with franchise organizations across the world. Part of our speciality, of course, is the ability to manage these locations from a support point of view. So not only do we build, deploy, and help the users, we have 24/7 support. So we have a little widget which sits here, and I've just by example called this location, say funnel, for instance. This is an example. We can have guided tours, we can have a knowledge base, we can have live chat, we can have AI, right? So it's like, how do I post on Facebook every Friday at 4 o'clock? The AI will understand exactly what to do. It'll tell them exactly how to do it. And if they're not satisfied with that, they can contact human support, which will open up a dedicated 24/7 human-based support. They understand what brand they're representing, so they'll know that, this is Jim Mowing, this is, whatever it is, and they'll respond in the tone of voice that you've approved with your brand as well. That then goes into ticketing. It goes to our onboarding team if they need to check what they may have missed during their education activation sessions. But we handle this in any time zone, so you can sell a franchise to anyone in any location, and even multilingual. So if you're selling in South America, you want to sell Spanish, Portuguese, and those versions of like the Latino languages, we can handle those. In Europe, we can handle German, Spanish, etc., French. All of that can be 100% handled. If they ask questions in their native language, we'll respond back in their native language, all the while not even understanding those languages, right? So it's all driven by AI, translations and those types of things. Going beyond that, you've got so much reporting and analytics. You've got the ability to do ads reports on marketing. This would be for the individual franchise person, but we can aggregate this marketing back to whoever we want. And what's really cool is that these automations can be set up in a way so that if I was running, say, a national campaign, I could have an automation which is called like organize new leads. So a lot of franchises like to run national ads, and then they fill out what location they're from, and then they connect that person to whoever is first available in the location. So this would be like, if I want my lawn mowed, I go online, lawn mowing near me, I hit a nationally run ad, which has a much bigger budget than the individual local people. Once they fill out that form, they say the form was, say, a city called Sydney. And if I am the person that owns the franchise or the territory, I get that lead, and I can actually put that lead inside of the account that who should get that lead. So you can run a national campaign and then put those leads inside your individual locations. No one else that we're aware of has this level of sophistication of inheritance between the headquarters and the individual franchise members. If you want to speak to myself or Nicholas, then there's going to be a link at the end of this video which will take you to a sales calendar. We'd love to give you an overview talk through what your franchise does. Of course, if you're a marketing agency, which is a very similar business to franchises, we also have plans that cater for you as well. But click the link below, spend 30 minutes talking to me or Nicholas about your franchise and your goals. We love working with people that are sort of 10, 20, 30, 50 in, but we also have experience working with the larger guys who have just 100 or 150 and really starting to grow. And we find at that point, they're really dying for a self-managed system with regards to the technology rather than something that they want to manage in-house. As becomes more of a liability rather than an asset. Buying, they headquarters normally likes to hire creatives, campaign managers, and those types of things rather than sort of hardcore digital CRM operations people, business process operations people. And that's exactly why we have the 24/7 support, the onboarding and activation, the education and training, and all the education material that we provide so that they can learn this system without needing to bug you. So basically, you don't ever field questions on how to use the technology. We handle all of that. And again, any time zone, any language. Thanks very much for watching. I've been Ryan O'Connor. If you need any questions or you want to reach out, click the link below and we'll hopefully speak to you soon.